All right, y'all. I've been thinking about telling this story for a long time, and it wasn't really until I went to therapy last week that I was like, let me tell this story, because there might be some people, now y'all might not go through something similar because this is very much wild, but you might be somebody who, like me, is very solution oriented. Give me any problem, if I can find a solution, I'll be okay. But if it's left up in the air and if stuff is unknown, it's gonna stick in here, and I just got to get it out. So there might be somebody who watches this video that I can help, for one, but also is a detective low-key and can help me. So let me tell the story about how my dad died, and then I saw him in the airport in Atlanta, possibly, probably, most likely. So I'm gonna take it back. Growing up, my father was not around. My mother did not speak about my father. If he came up, it was very much a let's change the subject, or if she did say anything, it was not a positive thing. So of course, growing up, I wondered who my father was. I did have a little cute Nike box that had a cigar in it, a picture of him and I when I was very small, in my birth announcement, and like my very first pair of Nike shoes. So I would go through there and I would smell the cigar, and I would just imagine what he was doing, who he was. Yeah, but it was not a conversation in my house at all. So I turned 18 and got married extremely young, and I absolutely know that that was connected now. Not having a father, my ex-husband is somebody who was very strong, opinionated. He was very protective. So this was absolutely connected. Not having that dad growing up caused me to get married extremely young. Got married at 18, got pregnant at 19. When I got pregnant, I was very sick, and I had to move to Charlotte with my mother-in-law and my husband because I could not work. Around 1920, around this time now, MySpace was the thing. MySpace was popping. So I got on MySpace. I began to think about him. So I searched my father. We're going to call him Larry for this story. So I searched, and I found somebody who I felt like was him. So I reached out, inboxed them, said some things. Does this sound familiar? Do you happen to know this woman's name? All the things that would stick out if he was in fact my father. Well, sure enough, not too long after I inboxed him, he inboxed me back and said, I've been waiting for this day, some other stuff, and long story short, we exchanged numbers.
Hey cousins, welcome back to my channel. Make sure you like and comment, hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Make sure your notification bell is on so you're notified every single time I post. As you can see from the clip, we are going to get into this topic on this woman who thought she saw her dad. Is it her dad? Is it not her dad? It would be so crazy if it was her dad. Unpack your thoughts in the comments. How do you feel if you've ever grown up without a father? Do you feel like you want to know who your dad is? Or a mom? If you grew up without your mom, would you want to know who your parent is that you grew up without? One thing I have to say about this story is the power of social media is real. There are a lot of people that use social media for the jokes and just to make fun of people and just all the bad things and the negative things about social media. But I think this story is a positive, there's something positive to show that social media can come together to help you out. And I just love the way that, well, let's watch it. Unpack your thoughts in the comments, cousins. I don't want to give too much. I'm not going to talk too much because I am sick and I probably sound like DMX, baby. But unpack your thoughts in the comments. Make sure you like this video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Please hit a like for your girl. Bye.
We started talking, and red flag number one. Red flag number one, raises its hand. So while we were talking, he said, I've been looking for you for your entire life. I wrote Oprah several times. I wrote like all these people that he wrote, all these talk shows, Montel Williams, Sally Jesse, Ricky. It was really weird that it was the talk shows, but this is what he said he did. And so I'm just finding him. So I want to talk. I want to hear the stories. I want to hear what happened. I want to know who he is. So I kind of let it slide, but we had, at the time when I was younger growing up, I had his last name. Him and my mom never got divorced, and she was in the military. So if you wanted to find me, granted, we didn't have MySpace, Facebook, all of that back then, but the military don't play about family dynamics and all those things. If you wanted to find me, you could have absolutely found me. You chose not to, but so that's red flag number one. So I find him, and he's telling me, what he does. He's telling me about his son, who he's saying does not speak English. He is with a woman that he calls his wife, but again, him and my mom never got divorced, so but he is in Europe, so that might be something different. So I was born in Germany. he never left Europe. At the time when him and I spoke, he was in Amsterdam at the time. He told me that he played, he said for a while he played professional sports. Who knows? Nothing online about this. But he said when I found him, he was currently owning and operating one of the biggest security companies in Amsterdam. Now again, if you are a detective sleuth, you picking up little clues. You can find out my maiden name. Look up this security. If you find him, let a girl know so I can close this chapter. But anyway, let's go back to the story at hand. He was saying that he owned one of the biggest security companies in Amsterdam, and he provided services in the red light district for the likes of Stedman at one point. Not the red light district for Stedman, but security for Stedman, which was weird because, again, another Oprah reference. It's given he loves Oprah very much. So he's telling me about his life, sending me pictures of my grandparents, his family, his siblings. He tells me that he's a twin. He did say his twin's name is Rose. But I'm only speaking to him at this point. He sends me a picture of him and I. He's telling me stories about, everything that happened back then. So I'm like, okay, so I really want to see you. Like, he's saying he's well off. He does all these things. He is in Europe. He's in Amsterdam. But I mean, I'm either pregnant at the end of my pregnancy, or I had my son. I can't remember. But we started talking, and red flag number one. Red flag number one, raises his hand. So while we were talking, he said, I've been looking for you for your entire life. I wrote Oprah several times. I wrote like all these people that he wrote, all these talk shows, Montel Williams, Sally Jesse, Ricky. It was really weird that it was the talk shows, but this is what he said he did. And so I'm just finding him. So I want to talk. I want to hear the stories. I want to hear what happened. I want to know who he is. So I kind of let it slide, but we had, at the time when I was younger growing up, I had his last name. Him and my mom never got divorced, and she was in the military. So if you wanted to find me, granted, we didn't have MySpace, Facebook, all of that back then, but the military don't play about family dynamics and all those things. If you wanted to find me, you could have absolutely found me. You chose not to, but so that's red flag number one. So I find him, and he's telling me, what he does. He's telling me about his son, who he's saying does not speak English. He is with a woman that he calls his wife, but again, him and my mom never got divorced, so but he is in Europe, so that might be something different. So I was born in Germany. He never left Europe. At the time when him and I spoke, he was in Amsterdam at the time. He told me that he played, he said for a while he played professional sports. Who knows? Nothing online about this. But I'm like, let's meet. So he's like, okay, I'm going to fly to Charlotte. So over the span of, I want to say, 6 months to a year, that was the thing. I'm coming to Charlotte. I'm coming to see you. I'm flying out, but it will always be something that came up. And one time it was even, I'm at the airport at Charlotte, but I gotta go type thing. So I'm getting annoyed at this point. So I kind of fall back a little bit. Like, I'm not sure what's going on. He being real weird. If he doesn't want to see me, that's fine. Let me not get my hopes up, because my hopes were up. And when it didn't happen, I would get very I don't like getting in my head. So I kind of fell back. And then I want to say now we're at the next year, and he's like, I'm coming. And at some point we're on the phone, and he's like, I can't hear you. I'm in my helicopter. I'll call you back. And I don't hear from this man for like a year. So I'm done. I moved back to Virginia. I'm good. I don't really want to, get into it. He emails me, I'm really sorry. A lot was going on. I really want to have a relationship with you. Please forgive me. Okay. Within the span of, I had my son when I was 20. Within the next 5 years, I have 3 more kids. So at 25, I have 4 children. And then I'm really at the point, I go back to school. I have 2 jobs. I have a double major at ODU. I'm really to the point where I don't have time for anything extra that's causing me stress. So I completely wash my hands of the matter. 2013, my family and I are on the Ellen show. So he reaches out, congratulations. Again, I'm really sorry. I want to, know my grandkids. I said, if you're not coming to see me, I have nothing for you. I don't, stop calling me. Like, if you don't want to come out here, have a nice life. Goodbye. He reaches back out and says, okay, I understand, but I just want you to know that I'm in LA. I'm going to be on Law and Order, and I just want you to be proud of me. And here's the episode that I'm on. Y'all, hold on, I'm thirsty. This man, he says, I'm going to be on Law & Order. I'm like, okay, that's cool. It's always a little bit of hope. He sends me a video of him in acting class. It's this little sad white room. With some wooden chairs and another person. Now I'm like, sir, I know you've been in Europe for a long time. You can't possibly think. And he knew I was in school for film. He knew, but you know I have a TV. You cannot possibly think that I'm thinking this is Law & Order. So I'm real done now. Like, I need you to stop lying to me, forget you know me. Don't even worry about it. My bad for reaching out. Like, my bad. My mother didn't even say nothing and she was right. I understand, sis. I get it. So by 30 now, 30, 31, I get divorced. It's so much. 30, I get divorced. That was 2017. So I hadn't heard from him for a really long time. Something happened and he did reach out again, found out I got divorced, apologized for what I was going through. Again, I'm keeping it real simple and short because I don't have nothing to say to you. Every time he reached out, I really did feel like he was eventually going to say, the little girl inside of me eventually was going to be like, I'm coming to see you. Because again, I just like solutions and I like the ending. So every time I would say I'm done, forget, leave me alone, all of those things, there was a part of me that still was like, but I want to see you. I've never seen you. I was 2 months when my mom left Germany. Like, so I still wanted to, you know, see. So every time it would be that little inkling. So fast forward past that, 2020, 2021 happens. We have COVID. He calls again and he says, I almost died. I was in a coma. I had COVID when I almost died. I just really, you know, when I woke up, I just wanted to reach out to you and really say I'm sorry for everything, for not being there for you. I'm proud of you. All the things that you see on movies that they say. So I'm like, okay, cool. Glad you're okay. But again, not having too much for him. So 2023 happens and I get a email from somebody who is the name that I know of my brother. So I'm sure it's my brother, my dad's son. And he says, I want to reach out. I've been wanting to reach out to you. Can I have your phone number? So I was like, sure. Gave him my phone number. My phone rang. Now, mind you, my father told me years ago that my brother did not speak English. So you know, the person I'm talking to is speaking English and he's sending me, he knows about me. He mentions my family, my children. He mentions the Ellen show. He mentions things that only my father could have told him. So we're talking and he's like, yeah. And he says his name. He says, Larry passed away. Larry has some heart issues. And then basically his organs gave out and we lost them. Before he died, we patched things up. So apparently they had some issues as well. And we also have another sister. And he gave me her information. And he gave me her social media. So I see her on social media. We exchanged a few conversations, not too much at all. Looking at her, does she look like me? I mean, I can see people in Walmart who look like me. I don't know. We share some similar things. But who knows? Again, we can... I can look like a lot of people. He tells me that he dies. When he says the heart thing does stick out to me because throughout my life, my later life, I did have some issues. I had to wear a heart monitor. I was in the hospital a few times. I had some issues with my heart. So I was like, oh, dang. Like, okay, well, can you send me the medical stuff so I can get this to my doctor? He's like, absolutely. I'll send it to you. I'm also going to send you the link to the funeral. The funeral is maybe... let's say Saturday. I think he called me up on the Tuesday. The funeral was that weekend. Now, this is also a week before my college graduation. So all this was happening at one time. But I'm like, yes, send me the link. I'll tune in. We're talking a few times back and forth through text messages. The day of the funeral comes, there's no link at all. I do not reach out, but there's no link to the funeral. I do reach out about the health things. He keeps saying he's going to send it. Nothing is sent at all. Excuse me. So he goes ghost. I don't hear from him at all until October 2023. October 2023. That same year, I get a text that says test. So I text back, I'm here, but nothing. So was that my brother? Was that him? I don't know. Again, he called him Larry. Maybe that's a thing. Again, my brother is, his mother is European. For all I know, he's only lives over there. So maybe that's a thing over there. Maybe you call your parents by their first name. I don't know. But again, more questions that need answers. That's the last time I heard from him was October 23. Now, when he said that our father passed, I'm online. I'm looking for obituaries. I'm looking for a funeral. I'm looking on social media for rest in peace things. Any type of combination that you think you can put in a search box, I did. And I found nothing. So my initial thought was, maybe they don't, do obituaries in Europe. I don't know what happens over there, but they do. And his name is kind of common. It's kind of common for one particular race over there. So when I put his name in and put obituaries, like all these other people came up. But the things that I know of him, I would put in the search and nothing came up. So that was very weird to me. Very weird to me. But I thought about it. But never really had any answers. Never had answers. So how he died, why he died, really through the medical documents, and never had any written proof of that. So low key, I was thinking, okay, so him and my mom really never got divorced. I'm his first daughter. Is this like a life insurance situation? Like, I'm gonna tell her, but I ain't gonna tell her, so they can't. I don't know. That crossed my mind as well. But also it crossed my mind, like, is he really gone? But I also was telling myself, maybe that's me being hopeful. Again, that what's going on. So that was 2023. Fast all the way forward till October 2024. I go on a work trip to Utah. I get back by flight to Atlanta. I get to Atlanta, and if you know the Atlanta's airport is very much so take trains, planes, or automobiles to get to your next flight. So luckily, my connecting flight was literally right across from my flight coming to Norfolk. I'm flying Delta. I get off my plane to go sit in my other gate. And the gate that I'm at, Norfolk, Virginia, it's not like, wherever you're going to sit, that's where you're going, pretty much, at that airport. So I sit in my gate and I sit down, and maybe directly across from me, but maybe, I don't know, 20 some feet in front of me, I look up and I'm like, that look like my dad. But I'm thinking, like, he looks familiar. Now again, I've never seen my father in person since I was a baby. But I look up and I'm like, dang, he really looks like my dad. But he has a hat on, not too low, has a hat on, a regular shirt. And my dad he was in shape, muscles, all of that. So I'm looking across, and at this point, I think I'm staring. And he looks up at me, and he looks down, and he looks right back up at me. And I can see him kind of hesitate, and then he puts his hat down low, and he kind of does like this, and he keeps like fidgeting. So I text my friend, and I'm like, yo, I think my dad's in the airport. I wish you was here, because I couldn't get up and say nothing. I couldn't get up and go talk to him. But the gentleman, he kept kind of catching me stare and looking at him. He kept like moving, so I couldn't really see his face any longer. But he did it. He got up again. My dad had a very unique, like, we shared all of this is given. That's your child. But he looked up, and like, I just felt, anybody who knows me know my intuition is very much that girl. My throat got tight. It was just, I'm calling him back later. My throat got tight, and it was a day. But he got up. I watched him get up and go to the counter and change his flight. So yeah, I really just want answers. I really want to know if that really was him. I really feel like it was. If that really was him. Like, you faked your death? And then the karma is me seeing you. Like, why are you coming to Virginia? Why are you coming to Virginia? Let's get on a flight together. Let's fly together. Let's have a conversation. So anybody that's watching, if you are a detective sleuth, if you can figure stuff out, let's inbox me so we can figure out where this man is at, if he is under or above ground, because I need a solution. I was able to connect with Aura on this app, the app of TikTok. I knew that y'all was gonna come through. And Aura has been working today to find me some information, possible closure, and she has uncovered his life in LA. This man was a celebrity bodyguard. She has sent me pictures of him with reality TV stars, and she sent me video of him being Wiz Khalifa's bodyguard. She found a picture of him when he was younger. She found out I think she found the marriage license because she asked my mom's maiden name. So sis is working to find out what's going on. Again, I'm just looking for a closure, because like I said in my other videos, the hope was always there. Now, granted, if this man lied about his death, I don't want to build a relationship, but I do want to close the chapter. I never had any kind of father figure. So when I finally found my father, it was like, okay, I can be able to have that type of relationship. But then when he passed away, I was able to close that off in my mind. But then thinking that he might still be here opened up another weird door. So I just want to be able to close it and really just be able to move on. And this process and sharing this with y'all has been the catalyst to be able to do that. So, Aura, thank you for all your hard work and what you're doing. And I'll be back. Hey cousins, this is the finale. I just spoke to 2 of his nieces who confirmed that he in fact did pass away. And I got some proof. I was able to get a link to the funeral. So I don't know who I saw in the airport that day. A lot of people asked, was that his twin? No, his twin is a woman. So I don't know who that was or why they behaved that way. I have no idea. What I do know is that moment brought me to this moment, which got me some answers and final closure. That relationship just was not one that was supposed to happen. So yeah, thank y'all for listening these past few days, and now we all can move on.
Before we go, cousins, it's unfortunate that he passed away, but the good thing about the situation is that she now has closure. She was able to figure out that he really did pass, and she's not holding on to the fact that he may have faked his death. So I think that's a positive thing. Another thing is that the TikTok community was able to come together and help her to find him. And again, like I said before, that's one thing I would say, especially with TikTok. There are so many people on there that can literally help you in life. Like, the community on TikTok is so beautiful. It's probably not the same now that Meta has taken over it, but before the whole situation, it was definitely a community on there. And I hope any child that is longing for that parental love from a parent that they did not receive growing up, that they do find it. If the parent has passed on, I hope that you will at least have closure with the situation and never give up on something that you want to know. Unpack your thoughts in the comments. Make sure you like this video if you made it this far. Bye.